2005 National Electrical Code, specifically Article 406.9b, addresses the placement of receptacles near bathtubs and showers. This code provision is in place to enhance electrical safety and reduce the risk of shock hazards in damp or wet locations. Article 406.9b clearly states that receptacles shall not be installed within 3 feet of the inside edge of the bathtub or shower stall rim. This 3-foot zone is measured horizontally from the edge of the tub or shower. It is important to understand the reasons behind this code requirement. Water is an excellent conductor of electricity, and the presence of water significantly increases the risk of electric shock. Bathrooms are inherently wet environments, and the likelihood of water coming into contact with electrical devices is relatively high. Placing receptacles too close to a water source, such as a bathtub or shower, creates a potential pathway for electricity to travel through water and into a person's body. The 3-foot rule establishes a buffer zone to minimize this risk. By keeping receptacles at least 3 feet away from the tub or shower, the chances of accidental contact with water and electricity are significantly reduced. This is particularly important because people are often barefoot in bathrooms, which further increases their susceptibility to electric shock. Consider a scenario where a person is taking a shower and a faulty electrical appliance, such as a hairdryer, falls into the water. If a receptacle is located within 3 feet of the shower, the electrical current could easily travel through the water and electrocute the person. However, if the receptacle is located outside the 3-foot zone, the risk is substantially lower. It is important to note that this code requirement applies to all receptacles, regardless of their type or voltage. This includes standard 120 volts receptacles, as well as ground fault circuit interrupter, abbreviated GFCI, protected receptacles. While GFCI protection provides an additional layer of safety by quickly interrupting the circuit in the event of a ground fault, it does not eliminate the risk of electric shock altogether. Therefore, the 3-foot rule remains in effect even when GFCI protection is provided. There are some exceptions to the 3-foot rule. For example, receptacles that are specifically designed for use in wet locations, such as those used for electric water heaters or whirlpool tubs, may be installed closer than 3 feet to the water source, provided they are installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and are GFCI protected. However, these exceptions are limited to specific applications and do not apply to general-purpose receptacles. It is also important to understand that the 3-foot rule applies to both new construction and renovations. When installing new receptacles in a bathroom or when renovating an existing bathroom, it is essential to ensure that all receptacles are located at least 3 feet away from the tub or shower. Failure to comply with this code requirement can result in fines, penalties, and even legal action. In addition to the 3-foot rule, there are other code requirements that apply to receptacles in bathrooms. For example, all receptacles in bathrooms must be GFCI protected. GFCI protection is designed to detect ground faults, which occur when electricity leaks from a circuit to ground. When a ground fault is detected, the GFCI quickly interrupts the circuit, preventing electric shock. GFCI protection is particularly important in bathrooms because of the increased risk of electric shock in wet environment. There are 2 main types of GFCI protection: receptacles and circuit breakers. GFCI receptacles are installed in place of standard receptacles and provide GFCI protection at the point of use. GFCI circuit breakers are installed in the electrical panel and provide GFCI protection for the entire circuit. In bathrooms, it is common to use GFCI receptacles to provide GFCI protection for individual receptacles. It is also important to note that all receptacles in bathrooms must be grounded. Grounding provides a safe path for electricity to flow in the event of a ground fault. When a receptacle is grounded, any electricity that leaks from the circuit to ground will flow through the grounding wire back to the electrical panel, tripping the circuit breaker and preventing electric shock. Grounding is typically achieved by connecting the receptacle to a grounding wire that runs back to the electrical panel. The grounding wire is usually green or bare copper. In addition to the 3-foot rule, GFCI protection, and grounding requirements, there are other code requirements that apply to electrical installations in bathrooms. For example, all wiring in bathrooms must be installed in accordance with the National Electrical Code. This includes using the proper size and type of wire, properly securing the wiring, and protecting the wiring from physical damage. It is also important to ensure that all electrical boxes and fittings are properly installed and are suitable for use in a wet environment. When working with electricity in bathrooms, it is essential to take all necessary safety precautions. This includes turning off the power to the circuit before working on any electrical equipment, wearing appropriate personal protective equipment such as rubber gloves and safety glasses, and using insulated tools. It is also important to have a thorough understanding of the National Electrical Code and all applicable local codes and regulations. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. A qualified electrician will have the knowledge, skills, and experience necessary to safely and properly install electrical equipment in bathrooms. In summary, the 2005 National Electrical Code, specifically Article 406.9b, prohibits receptacles from being installed within 3 feet of the inside edge of a bathtub or shower stall rim. This code requirement is in place to enhance electrical safety and reduce the risk of shock hazards in damp or wet locations. In addition to the 3-foot rule, all receptacles in bathrooms must be GFCI protected and grounded. It is also important to follow all other applicable code requirements and to take all necessary safety precautions when working with electricity in bathrooms. Always consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns about electrical safety. It is also a good idea to familiarize yourself with the relevant sections of the National Electrical Code and any applicable local codes and regulations. This will help you ensure that all electrical installations in your home are safe and compliant with the law. There are several resources available to help you learn more about electrical safety and the National Electrical Code. The National Fire Protection Association, abbreviated NFPA, publishes the National Electrical Code and offers a variety of training and educational materials. The Electrical Safety Foundation International, abbreviated ESFI, is a non-profit organization that provides information and resources on electrical safety. Your local electrical utility company may also offer educational programs and resources on electrical safety. By taking the time to learn more about electrical safety, you can help protect yourself and your family from the dangers of electricity. Always remember that electricity is a powerful force that must be treated with respect. When working with electricity, always follow all safety precautions and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. Understanding and adhering to the National Electrical Code is crucial for ensuring electrical safety in all buildings, especially in potentially hazardous locations like bathrooms. The 3-foot rule is a fundamental aspect of this code, designed to minimize the risk of electrical shock near water sources. The proper installation and maintenance of electrical systems, including receptacles, are essential for preventing accidents and protecting lives. Regular inspections and testing of electrical systems can help identify potential hazards and ensure that all components are functioning properly. If you notice any signs of electrical problems, such as flickering lights, sparking outlets, or trip circuit breakers, it is important to have them addressed by a qualified electrician as soon as possible. Ignoring these warning signs can lead to serious consequences, including electrical fires and electrocutions. Furthermore, it is crucial to use electrical equipment and appliances safely and responsibly. Always follow the manufacturer's instructions and never overload circuits. Avoid using extension cords as a permanent solution and replace any damaged cords or plugs immediately. In bathrooms, be especially careful to keep electrical appliances away from water and to dry your hands thoroughly before touching any electrical devices. Educating yourself and your family about electrical safety is an important step in preventing accidents. Teach children about the dangers of electricity and how to use electrical equipment safely. Make sure everyone in your household knows how to respond in the event of an electrical emergency, such as an electrical fire or an electrocution. By working together, we can create a safer environment for ourselves and our communities. The National Electrical Code is constantly evolving to reflect new technologies and safety concerns. It is important to stay up to date on the latest code requirements and to ensure that all electrical installations are compliant with the current standards. Consulting with a qualified electrician is the best way to ensure that your electrical systems are safe and up to code. In addition to the specific requirements for receptacles near bathtubs and showers, the National Electrical Code also addresses other aspects of electrical safety in bathrooms, such as lighting, ventilation, and wiring methods. It is important to consider all of these factors when designing and installing electrical systems in bathrooms. Proper lighting is essential for visibility and safety in bathrooms. Make sure that all light fixtures are properly installed and grounded and that they are suitable for use in a wet environment. Adequate ventilation is also important for preventing moisture buildup and reducing the risk of mold and mildew growth. Exhaust fans should be installed in all bathrooms to remove excess moisture and humidity. When selecting wiring methods for bathrooms, it is important to choose materials that are resistant to moisture and corrosion. Non-metallic sheath cable, also known as NEC cable, is commonly used for wiring in bathrooms, but it must be installed in accordance with the National Electrical Code. Conduit can also be used to protect wiring from physical damage and moisture. Regardless of the wiring method used, it is important to ensure that all connections are properly made and that the wiring is securely supported. By paying attention to these details, you can help ensure that your bathroom is safe and electrically sound. Remember that electrical safety is an ongoing process. It is not enough to simply install electrical systems correctly and then forget about them. Regular maintenance and inspections are essential for identifying potential problems and preventing accidents. Make sure to test GFCI receptacles and circuit breakers regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. Inspect wiring and connections for signs of damage or corrosion. Replace any worn or damaged components promptly. By taking these steps, you can help keep your electrical system safe and reliable for years to come.